David Harper was a successful corporate lawyer in New York. He wore $1,000 suits, lived in a high-rise apartment, and had the respect of his peers. But behind that polished image was a man, haunted by a single regret: losing touch with his only son, Jake. David had divorced Jake's mother when Jake was just 10. The custody battle was brutal, and the emotional damage even worse. Jake, once a joyful, curious boy, became distant. David, drowning in work and chasing promotions, thought he'd fix it later. But later never came. Years passed. Jake moved to California with his mom. David sent birthday cards, some gifts, but rarely called. His phone would buzz with Jake's name now and then, but he'd silence it, thinking he'd call back later. One night, David was at a charity gala, sipping wine and smiling for cameras, when he got a voicemail from an unknown number. It was from a nurse in San Diego. "Mr. Harper, your son Jake is in critical condition. He was in a motorcycle accident. You are listed as next of kin. He may not make it through the night." David froze. It felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. Within 2 hours, he was on a red-eye flight to San Diego. The entire flight. Memories flooded back: Jake's laughter, their fishing trip when he was 8, the baseball game they never went to. At the hospital, he found Jake in the ICU unconscious, tubes down his throat, his face bruised. The beeping machines were the only sign he was still alive. A nurse handed David Jake's phone and whispered, "He was calling you." Before he passed out, David broke down. For the first time in decades, the high-powered lawyer, who had never lost a case, was defeated. He sat by Jake's bed, held his hand, and whispered, "I'm sorry, son. I failed you. I thought I had time. I was wrong." Hours passed, then a day. Jake remained unconscious. But then, a miracle. Jake opened his eyes. Weakly, but he opened them. Tears rolled down both their faces. Jake croaked, "You came." David held his hand tighter. "I'll never leave again." They talked for hours. Jake had resentment, pain, questions. David had guilt, sorrow, but also love. That day changed everything. David left his job. He moved to California. They went to therapy. They healed. Slowly, awkwardly, painfully, but they rebuilt what was broken. Not every story has a happy ending, but sometimes you get a second chance. Don't waste yours.